Okay guys, as promised, this is episode 2 of using the Langmuire Crossfire Pro with Fusion 360. If you'll remember, we're trying to create a shelf for our die, so I want to kind of just walk you through the process that I normally do. First things I want to do is, of course, turn on the machines. My compressor is already on. And I'm going to turn on the plasma cutter and turn on Langmuire Systems control box. So the other thing I want to do, I want to check and make sure my ground wire is on, and it is, and in place. I want to make sure my metal is set up about even on both sides, so it looks like I need to come this way just a hair. And we appear to be even on both sides, so we're good to go. So my next process is going to be to open up Langmuire Systems actual setup. You might be able to see it a little better from this angle, I don't know, probably not. So we could look at the screen. Why don't we try that and see if you can get a better idea of what's going on with the fire control. So we're going to open that up. Give it just a minute. All right, so fire control is trying to get started here. A little bit slow. My network's running a little slow today for some reason. I'm not real sure why. Give it just a second, see if it comes back on. If not, we may have to close it out and try it again. So let's quit and try it one more time. Might be eating up a little too much RAM on the system. It's about 95 degrees here in my shop, so excuse me if I'm sweating a little. Oh, I guess it might help if I actually plug it into my computer, huh? See what happens when you get old, you forget about these things. Okay, so I've got the fire control up. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to bring my torch down where I can change out the tip, and I'll show you how I'm doing that by swapping to a different camera. All right. I'm pretty well burned this up. I don't know if you can see that or not, but the tip's burned up, and so is this. So you keep plenty of these handy. I've got a whole drawer full of them that I use. They're good for about 30 or 40 pierces, and that's about it. So I guess that's what happens when you buy cheap stuff, huh? Put the plastic piece back in, put a new tip in here, and drop this tip in here. Make sure that gets centered, put it all back together. The other thing I like to do is clean this tip off. There's about 8 little air holes in there. You want to make sure that's all good. And we're going to put it back in its holder and just hand tighten it so you got some movement. Okay, so we've got the system all set up and ready to rock and roll. We need to move our torch down and over a little. Try and get it right to the quadrant that we want it at. That all looks pretty good. Metal's expensive, so we don't want to waste a lot of that. and we're going to zero our axis. I'll tell you what, I'm going to put it back on the screen so you can see what I'm doing. So I zeroed it out where we're at. My next step is to find the file we created. So I'm looking at the desktop, I'm going to my NC files. If you'll remember, we called that a die shelf 2, I do believe we called it. If we can find it. Well, I see the first one, the die shelf 1. It's okay, they're pretty close to the same, so we'll just load that one up. It's going to give us the same effect. And you can see how it's all set up. I think I had 2 lines here as opposed to 3 lines in the other one, but it'll do the exact same thing as what we were trying to do. So we're all good to go. We've zeroed out our axis where we want it. Our next step is just to hit start. So I'm going to hit start and then go to the other camera so you can watch what's going on. So we'll hit start. Close out the program, move it off. Okay, and you can see it's cut us out a little shelf, might be a little hot. So we're going to just gently try and grab it. Actually, let me grab my gloves. Just a little too hot to handle right now. You see how it cut it all out nice and neat. We just got to clean up some of the dross, different areas on there, and we'll be ready to put it in place. So I'm going to swap cameras now. We're going to come over here to the iPhone, make sure she's working right. Hopefully she'll follow me over here. There we go. Now she's decided to work. So I've got this neat little magnetic holder from Vivor that I bought years ago, and it just works great for disc grinding. So all I got to do is stick it on there and lock it down, and now it can't go anywhere. So it's ready to grind. I always keep in mind safety when you're doing any kind of grinding work. So I highly recommend you wear a mask of some sort just to keep from breathing it in, unless you want to be doing a lot of cleaning out your nose. All right, so put your safety glasses, your hearing protection, and now you're ready to grind. I love these little Hitachi, actually these are Bosch grinders. They make for really good grinders. All I'm trying to do is clean up the edges. exhaust off. Backside. All right, and we're good and cleaned up. I'm ready to go. Put my regular glasses on where I can actually see again. All right, and there you have it. So that's our product all cut out. Not too bad of a job. Now we're going to turn around and make our bend right here on the fold, and these dies will just rest in here like this across once we get it done. So let's get that done. I'll get some screws and a drill and we'll hang it on the wall after we get it bent. So I come over here to my finger press. Trying to line it up right on that crack. The secret here is to bend it enough, but not too much. And that appears to be about right. I watched another video of a guy, had him set all this up, and I really like how he did it. So there we go. There's our shelf, and it's ready to screw on the wall. So I'm gonna grab a drill here real quick and some screws, and I'll be right back. Stay with me if you would. I'm heading over this direction. Got to make sure we pick me up. All right, I think the camera's got me. No, it doesn't. Obviously, I'm gonna have to work on some of these technical difficulties, but went and grabbed my level. I just want to make sure we're good to go. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just move my press out of the way a little bit. Go ahead and unhook it from the air compressor. Scoot this just slightly out of my way, and I'm gonna put this one right underneath this shelf. We'll set everything here. Grab our shelf. We'll put the middle one in first. Put the level on it. That's about perfect right there. Slide this out just a little to get to it. All right, we should be pretty good to go. Now I'm going to grab the dies and we're going to stack them in there and see how she turned out. Okay, I'm going to take the iPhone out of its little holder here, and just so you can kind of see what we look like after we're done, I think that turned out just right. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you learned something. If you got any comments or questions, just message me below, and I hope you'll sign up to get anything new that we have. So